So, this is a little test stream. I'm just trying to try out my new camera mounted on, well, it's my old camera mounted onto my microscope. So, also wanted to try out the closed caption settings, which look like they're right in the middle of the screen, which isn't the best, but at least I have closed captioning. So the main difference between my old camera setup and my current camera setup is that my old camera that was mounted on here was the one that came with the microscope, this little Leica, and it does an okay job of taking pictures, but it's just a 5 megapixel camera. And so it's got a little tiny sensor, and it caps out at 5 megapixels, but also the video part of it's not very good. So it does a really great job of taking still pictures in the right conditions, and that works pretty well for what I primarily do, which is take pictures of diatoms. But I thought that sometimes we do a little bit of streaming. Hi, Alan. And we want to look at living stuff. So for that, I think it's a little bit better to have a little bit nicer camera that can handle video. And so we're looking right now at a little Rotifer. This sample was that I have on my microscope is one that's a piece of bark that my daughter found in the yard earlier today, and she wanted me to take a look and see if I could find any water bears in it. And so I just I took a little knife, and it had a bunch of lichen on the outside, so that's a good candidate usually for rotifers and water bears and other things that can handle being dried out. And it zoomed way in, so and also the rotifers kind of being a little bit of a pill here because it's decided it's going to tuck itself underneath this little piece that it's hiding behind, rather than there it is. It's kind of poking its head. I would think that was its foot. It's kind of poking its head out occasionally. And paradise. This thing's crazy. But there it is. You can see it's got its little head. It's sort of squirming along the edge of this chunk of stuff. This is a Bedelloid Rotifer. People sort of don't pay enough attention to the Bedelloid Rotifer groups. They're super interesting. And in many ways, at least with respect to dehydration and UV light, they're basically as good as water bears with respect to the ability to withstand being dehydrated and exposed to really high UV. I don't know about the vacuum of space. I suspect they're probably as good as water bears about space vacuum. Hi, Miss Daisy D. How you doing? And also Sarah. That's not Tardy B. That there is a Rotifer. But I did put up Tardy B right here so that I could pop it up in case anybody asked. So there's a little Chook. Little Chook drew this Tardy B for us earlier, and that's a tardigrade that is meant to look like, it's having a good time. It's got a bit of a tan line on it, and she looks real sexy because we've never seen sexy tardigrades before now. So you should check out Little Chook. She drew this live with some people just sort of giving her some crazy suggestions, and we can give her a little shout out here in the channel, just in case you have trouble reading that lettering right there, or you want to make it easy for yourself. There you go. It was really fun, and you should also, while we're at it, check out Miss Daisy D. It's also here in the channel. There. I got to do everything myself. I can't just yell out to my assistants to help me. So what we have right here is a rotifer, not a water bear. But I was poking around in this sample. I just want to point out for people who might have shown up a little bit late that my my daughter picked up a stick for me out of the yard with a little bit of lichen on the outside of it. She's decided that she wanted to help me find some more water bears. And so she was outside with her friend earlier and just grabbed a little piece of bark. And it's been really windy, so I suspect it's blown off of some of the high branches on these trees. And then I just scraped it with a knife. I made a bit of a mess in the sink, which made my wife a little bit mad at me. But I was going to go clean it up eventually. And then, so what you're looking at is just a little bit of that, the material from the lichen. And you can see there's some little ciliates still swimming around here. Those things also were dried out when we started. They definitely didn't come from the water. The water at our house is actually Ropure water, like you would get in a lab, which we use for our drinking water in the house because we're scientists. And yeah, Alan, it's a Bedello Rotifer. Why is Tardy B on a railroad flatbed? That's because actually Miss Daisy D and Little Chook and Anonymous Turtle have set up a artist back alley, which is a way for Twitch-based artists to get some exposure, and they're sort of banded together. And for the artist back alley, they were making a train. Everybody made their own cars for the train, and then they're all attached together. And they needed some way to showcase everybody's merchandise and their streams. So because I do a little bit of drawing and we do some artwork with related to the scanning electron microscope, and I guess it's art that I do. Then Miss Daisy asked me if I would put together a boxcar for it, so I did that. And this is, I think, Little Chook just has like a little spacer train. I think that was supposed to go in there. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. So it's artistbackalley.com, and they're doing a sort of event with it. It's also a web page that they've built to help showcase a bunch of the work that artists on Twitch do. And I'm just kind of wedged in there a little bit as somebody who does some art, but I'm not trying to sell my art. I'm actually... Oh, there's another little Bedello Rotifer, but what you should see on there with the Rotifer is actually a water bear right at the top. Well, now it's walking down to the bottom of it right there. And I realized that I've switched over all of my camera settings to this new camera mount up here instead of the camera that came with my... Yeah, it's a wild water bear. Is being also a bit of a pain in the butt. They're hanging out on the backside of these little pieces of junk that are here. But that's a rotifer and a water bear. They're just together. They don't look like they're very friendly with each other, but I don't think they're fighting. They're just trying to figure out what the other one is doing, I think. So one of the things that's really nice is because I'm using my my Olympus camera, which is what I usually do my photography with. We have a 20 megapixel camera, and actually, if I record video through the camera, not through OBS, I can actually record 4K from my camera. So the quality on it is way, way better than the little thing that my video camera that was hooked up to my microscope before. But I lose the interface that's associated with it, so you can't see my mouse, and I've got to fix some stuff still. But I really wanted to check out the closed captioning, so I wanted to make sure that I had that set up, and it seems like it's working, which is cool. And
good news, everyone.
We got a new follow, Dr. Croc. Thanks for the follow. And I just wanted to sort of test out how well I could move around with the camera and how good the quality of the images could be. They're out on the edge of the slide has a little bit of a air gap underneath it, and so that black line that you're seeing is actually the edge of the water air interface, and that's why it's got that sort of rainbow color to it. And the water bear and this rotifer are just on a piece of junk, and as the water starts to dry up under the slide, they'll progressively get sort of pushed around by that air bubble. But I think it'll take a while, and maybe they'll move from sometimes they'll hop off of one piece of junk and they'll find another piece of junk, and then they'll start clambering around on it instead. So yeah, pretty cool. And I thought it would be really nice to have my stream be a little bit more accessible, and also to upgrade the camera from home. And oops, there's the water berries out. And also, right now we're on actually the lowest magnification that my home camera can, my home microscope can do. We're at 100 times magnification. So there's a 1x converter in the eyepiece, and then there's a 10x converter objective on the actual objective that the microscope is using. So together that's about 100 times magnification. And on this microscope, that's as low as it can get. Oh, look, it's Mallory. Hi, Mallory. How's it going? So we can actually get really close to the little water bear. And one of the problems with getting closer is, of course, that we lose the depth of field at the lower magnification, so you can only have a little bit in focus at the same time. And the rotifer and the water bear are kind of chasing around each other on this little circle of junk that they've found. It's pretty funny. Bumblebee and Gooboo. Actually, Gooboo is still sitting here, dried out on this slide. And this is a new sample. This one's from our yard, not from the material that Gooboo was collected, nor the stuff I had from last weekend that I collected. Oh, there it is. You can see that the water bear is trying to get off of that piece of junk and find a new piece of junk. Not too successfully. Oh, now he's popped up on the other side. I wish they were on something a little bit smaller, but there's no way for me to tell them what to do. They just do whatever they want. So, oops, and now they're kind of underneath. Here we go. Yeah. So, it's pretty cool. And this variety of water bear is like the ones that we had on the skinny electron microscope. So like the first little batch, they're smaller than the ones that I had last time, and they don't have the little star-shaped face. So
hey, what's that red thing in the corner of your computer?
This thing?
Yeah.
It's Tardy B.
Tardy B?
Tardy B.
What's that?
Tardy Bear B is the water bear that little Chook drew for us.
I see.
You don't have any clothes on. You can get out of
I
here.
have a towel.
Yeah. She's just laying out on a rail car. Isn't that funny? She's got tan lines. She's like you. She's running around naked. Eh?
I'm not running around naked. I have a towel on.
Yeah, that's like being naked.
I just got out of the
Yeah, I know. You just got out of the bathtub.
I'm out. Where's my arm?
Hey, Dirty Smith, how's it going?
Hi,
Sorry.
Dirty Smith. Thanks for doing.
He's telling him thank you.
Yeah, hi, Dirty Smith.
Miss Daisy D says hi. She's having a good time, except for all of her classes have been canceled. So she's been at home for the past week, and she's going to be home for at least another week because of the COVID. Which I think all of the schools are now closed here for the next week at least. I think it's probably going to be all the way through Christmas. Yeah. So, how's everybody doing? One of the things I really like about using my my home camera, my digital camera, instead of that camera that was hooked up to my microscope, is previously when things would move around in my slides, there'd be sort of like a desync between the reds and the blues and the green channels, and we don't get that anymore. So now when stuff moves, you're just getting it captured pretty much live, and I think it looks a lot better. So I'm pretty excited about that. You're still in class? Well, if you're a terrible student and you're still getting an A in the class, then I think you're doing okay. Either that or the class isn't designed very well, but I don't want to be judgy. Oh, you're writing out Thanksgiving cards? That's nice. I was gonna oh, they've almost managed to just try a little harder. Maybe they can reach over to that piece of junk and then they won't be stuck on the air bubble edge anymore. I was gonna do some Christmas cards with some of my diatom art. I think that's still in the works. I usually am terrible about Christmas cards and don't ever get them to send out. But I think, when it's your own artwork, it's a little bit easier to manage, I think. So, hey, Open Set, how you doing? Yeah, I've got my my beanie on today. I think it's largely because my hair is kind of messy, and that happens when I work out the night before, and then I take a shower the night before, and then when I get up I don't take a shower, so then my hair is just got like pillow style, So also it's a little bit cold, so I'm hanging out underneath it. Are there two tardigrades? No, there's just the one in the field of view. The other one is a rotifer. It's a bedelloid rotifer, and you can tell because it doesn't have any legs, or rather it has just one leg. Well, more like 1 foot. And then it's got like an antenna. And when their mouths are open, they're really easy to distinguish because the rotifer mouths look like this. Oops, that one was doing it for a minute there. It's also hiding on the backside of this piece of junk, but really they have this corona thing that comes up out of their mouth opening, and then they spin it. They don't really spin it, they sort of whirl them around, but it looks like it's spinning. And let's see if we wait here, it'll probably do it again. Oh, it's behind a piece of junk. Let's see if I can shake it off by wiggling the screen. Nope. He's got it all wrapped up around his head. But they have little sort of spinners that come out. That's what they get their name from, rotifers. Oh, there you can see them. You can see the little rotifer parts spinning right there. Just off the edge of it. So they spin those things, actually creates a little current that pulls stuff towards their mouths, and then they either accept food or reject food, and that's how they eat. So they look like little vacuum cleaner brushes, basically. Frosty Zam. What's going on? When you get your electron microscope so we can look at COVID. Well, we're not going to look at COVID. I don't do that. But there's 3 organisms that I've found so far that are animals, besides these little ciliates that are roaming around here. The ciliates that are in the background they're just kind of whirling around. They're on a different focal plane. They're way down at the bottom of the slide. And anyway, you can see how much better this camera works than my old one. As I move around, it just sort of instantly gets us there with the picture. So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see if we go back to this piece of junk. They're still fighting with the air bubble over here. Here's the water bear. It's kind of eating, and the rotifer actually had its little spinner out there for a second. There it goes. Now they're right next to each other. The water bear and the rotifer. You can see it's got its little corona spinning. Let's see. Selling coloring pages to friends for Thanksgiving since we can't get together. That's a good idea. Micro sweeper. Yeah, they're like little vacuum cleaners. Miniature masters of the vortex. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You're wearing my shirt? The same shirt I have on? This shirt says proud to be blue. And it's actually about ISU being blue, Indiana State. That's the university where I work. But I think I told this story once before, but one time I was on a trip to Georgia. And we stopped at a gas station. I was going to a diatom meeting. And the person saw the shirt, and they said, "You're proud to be depressed?" I was like, "No." I didn't understand what they were saying at first, and then it struck me. Yeah, it was a homecoming shirt. So you can see a little rotifer down here. He's got it's probably sticking out under the captioning. Right there. He's got his little spinners going. Here comes the water bear. It seems like they keep finding the same side of the piece of junk. Yeah, there he is. He's almost... You almost can reach. No. And back into the backside of the junk. So that was just one little piece of this bark, and there's a whole bunch of it. So I've got a whole bunch here that I could mess with, and I'm starting to accumulate sticks with bark in my house, just like everywhere, because for a long time I couldn't find water bears. I'd go looking in mosses. I picked up every kind of moss I could find, and never found any water bears in them. And I was even looking at lichen at the base of trees, and I never found any. And then for some reason I switched to sticks. And the sticks basically have lichen growing on them, and I get water bears every time. Has not failed when I go to a stick for some reason. Even from the same tree, it seems like the sticks have way more water bears than the stuff at the base does or anywhere else. I don't know if that's because they like being up at the top of the trees, or maybe the top of the trees where the sticks are get a little wetter. I don't know. Hard to say. Let's see. I didn't get that at an Eiffel 65 concert. No, I did not. They want you to pay to join the Alumni Association. We haven't graduated yet, Mallory. You'll have to wait for that. To be honest, I've been out of school for a while, and my universities have asked me for money, and I've always just tell them no. Because, I would rather give money to my own university if I had to give it to somebody, where, I actually am impacting the students who are in my program. It's sort of weird for me to give money to another school, even if it's like an alma mater, but it's odd. Yeah. I had a friend who just finished vet school last year, and they started hitting her up for alumni donations the very week of graduation. Yeah. A lot of times the money that comes in for alumni, it actually goes for really good stuff for students, but, ISU is not a giant school for donators, so I think that creates a problem in general. It's a smaller school. My daughter is going to start creating exciting stories where sticks came from. Yeah, possibly. She wanted to see whether there was anything on this. So I did a little quick survey. I found some water bears, and then oh, there he's got his little spinners out pretty good. This rotifer's a lot bigger than that other one. The other one's just a little baby. This guy's got all of the size. It's still kind of a scaredy cat. It's hanging out on the edge of this piece of junk. And I saw another one down here somewhere. It wasn't moving so much though. I think it's just like its foot was moving. Anyway, you get to... Oh, there it is. There's a rotifer. That one's not... It's just chilling out. It's not being very moving. Not. I don't think it's quite dead. Because earlier its foot was moving around. But the process of waking up from being dehydrated is probably a challenging one for them. You know, I know that they're probably also used to it, but it's got to be hard to like go from totally dehydrated to wide awake. Although I will say, this water bear, when I found it in the sample initially, it was rolled up in a little ball because I had just added the water. And within, I want to say 3 minutes after I put the sample on the slide with the water on it, it started to unroll. And then I ran around the house trying to get stuff together, like the camera parts and whatnot for the stream. And then when I came back, the water bear had already found, it had left its little ball and was off roaming around in the slide. So really, in the span of about 5 minutes, maybe, it went from being a little dried up ball that was barely moving or completely dehydrated to, up and moving around. And now it's wide awake and running around like, fighting with the rotifer over space. Yeah. Give to Blue 2020. Yeah. Donations are hard to get anybody really to sell for at the moment. But yeah, I saw this sample you had. I had to go to bed at some point. You started really late last night, open set. But we should probably send out a shout out to OpenSet. There we go. Really, if Mallory, you could stop complaining and do the moderating for me. Just kidding. Yeah, I already beat you to it. You old. What's happening right now? What is that? Oh, it's my pollen thing. Thanks, Bobber. You found my pollen grain. That's a piece of daisy pollen. There was a daisy here in the channel earlier. I'm not sure if Daisy's still here. She might be lurking. But there's a little daisy pollen in the BTTV icons, emotes, that you could access if you wanted to. That's what that one is. Double shout out for twice the open set action. Oh, it's probably like a good mirrored shout out, because OpenSet's been playing around with his microscope stuff, putting it in sort of mirror planes and vortexes and all kinds of crazy things. So if you like microscope streaming, you should check out OpenSet. He shows up like a Pokemon beast just whenever he feels like it right now, but I think he says in the channel there that he's going to get to some sort of a regular schedule, and probably I'm going to go move to an irregular schedule eventually, because now that classes are over, I don't have any time constraints for when I necessarily only have little windows where I could actually run the scanning electron microscope. So tomorrow I'm going to do some cryptogrammic soils, but I probably won't stream it because I'm working with a colleague on it. But maybe one of the later streams will do something with it once we see what's in those and how well they look. And I have to sort of get her permission to make sure she's okay with me broadcasting it, because we might be finding things that are new to science, and maybe she doesn't want that on Twitch before we have a chance to write it up, because I don't think many people do that sort of things. Normal teacher, yeah. Hey, Diatom, where can I contact you after stream? In my Discord, Bobber. That's the best place to do it. I think that link should work. And yeah, I beat you to it again, Mallory. And you can check me out then. Pretty easy to catch us on the Discord. Feel free to hop in there and hang out with us. You know, we're pretty funny there. We got a nice little community, and my other microscope squad people occasionally check in, so I'm gonna also give them a shout out before Mallory gets to it, because I'm beating her at all of the links right now. And yeah, so you should check out all those streamers. And in fact, let's see, A Tiny World. A Tiny World should be on tomorrow night. She streams from her microscope, and she usually does water bears, and from her balcony that she finds on her balcony. What, they're all hiding on the other side of this piece of junk. And she broadcasts on Tuesdays irregularly, but she also has her own podcast series, and Planet, what is it? B something? I don't remember off the top of my head. B49? B52? Something like that. So, but she's invited me to be on her podcast at the end of this month, or at the beginning of next month sometime. So I'll probably do some sort of a interview with her on that. And then she's really the person who got me into streaming. I watched an interview she was doing with my friend Melina, and Melina mentioned it on Twitch, and I was like, oh, I should go check that out. And then I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I put the scanning electron microscope on Twitch? And I had to get over a whole bunch of issues I have with, like, you know, putting myself on camera, and not really super interested in self-promotion. So I had to kind of work around that behavior a little bit. I'm not like your typically bubbly YouTube or Twitch streamer, because I mostly do science. Hey, it's Breaded Shrimp, who used to be Dangling Uvula. So you could all fight over who's gonna get the call-outs and shout-outs. This might explain a lot, but the guy that inspired OpenSet to start streaming was a guy running on a treadmill while painting pictures and taking calls from viewers at the same time. Well, OpenSet plays synthesizers, a theremin, and has microscope stuff, and cats and laser shows all at the same time. So I can't do all that. Although, since Sylvia isn't here, I can tell you that we did get a keyboard for her for Christmas, but she doesn't know that yet. And but I can't play the keyboard, so it's not like I'll be able to play the keyboard and then have stuff on the microscope. But you never know. I'm the bubbliest Jeffrey you know. I might be the only Jeffrey you know. Right? I actually don't know what the model is. Carlin did all the purchasing, but it's not a super expensive one. It's a, she's 6, so we didn't throw a ton of money into it. But also, Carlin always gets something super nice for her that I think is probably way more than we should be spending on a 6-year-old who doesn't know how to play piano and might forget that she was interested in it like 10 minutes after we get it for her. So you never know. Let's see. Yeah, hey Two Chooks, it's Tardy B in the corner, and I give a shout out to Little Chook because she drew this with me and some of the people from my crew, hanging out, just throwing out crazy ideas, and Miss Daisy D. We were all just in there, sort of throwing out crazy ideas for her. She started drawing just some water bears in profile, and then this crazy thing evolved, which we're calling Tardy B, uh, because she's like Cardi B, but a water bear. Yeah. And let's go check on that water bear actually and see what it's doing with the water bubble back here. Anything? Have they figured it out, or are they trapped? So as the water bubble starts to coalesce things into closer and closer contact, I'd actually imagine that it will get a little bit easier for the water bear to get around, because they're not very good swimmers. They're better at walking than swimming. And I think it's probably going to just end up, like getting them all sort of smushed together in one place. But if I could figure out where it went, that would help. They were over here somewhere in this pile of junk. I don't think they're on the outside of it yet. The impinging edge of the bubble closing in on them. If you leave them alone for long enough, you never know, they might end up someplace totally different. They get around surprisingly well for things that can't swim very well. I don't know where they went. It's a mystery. Oh, there's a little piece of a diatom right there. I left my little water bear alone too long. And, oh, there he is. He's found another piece of junk. A different piece of junk to climb around on. It looks like he's eating. The rotifers are a little bit better at getting around actually than the water bears. Yeah, he seems like he's munching away at whatever that is. Piece of moss or lichen. Oh boy, I missed a bunch. Something about ramen. Let's see. Does Tardy B sing that wet ass Pan Arthropoda song? Yeah, that's her. She definitely sings that WAP song. Flee the waterless danger zone. Yeah, get away. Let's see. Did I swear? I don't think I said anything. I didn't say anything swear wordy. I said WAP. You know, you can figure out what it means. Oh, ass. Is that a swear word? I don't think it's a swear word anymore. I think maybe they allow it on TV, if you can believe that. It's like one of those words that has basically just become acceptable for some reason. Like they don't even bleep it anymore. Did I say ass? I mean, I'm just talking about a donkey. I'm talking about a wet donkey, right? I think it's fine. Your parents still think it's a swear word, Mika? I don't think it's a swear word anymore. Also, I do have the family-friendly tag on the bottom of this, so probably I shouldn't be saying it, but, you know, it's not my fault. It's whoever put it in the channel. I guess it was open set. The funny thing is I don't actually know any Cardi B songs. I think I saw her on Saturday Night Live once, and I found her to be hilarious. But I don't know that she was meaning to be hilarious. It's not really my style. Hello, Mr. Water Bear. Are you going to get out of that bubble problem you've got? I'm not too sure. Oh, the bots came for me? Crap was a swear word when you grew up? Yeah. I mean, people say heck all the time. You know, Physaria. I didn't get through the list of people you should check out, by the way. The rest of our microscope squad in that list. There's Del Maximum. Del hasn't been on for a couple of days, but he might be on tonight. And he shows up on, let's see, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday morning? Or no, Sunday morning. Pretty reliably. And next up on that list, also Pacific Plankton. Pacific Plankton's going to be on tonight. In fact, she should be on in about maybe 2 hours. So you could check her out. You have to stay up late because she's on the West Coast, same with Dell. So they tend to do a little bit later in the evening. Oh, you finally found your way onto something else, Mr. Water Bear. Yeah. Rotifer's still back there on that other piece of junk, but you've moved on. Something new to explore. Don't go back. Don't go back. What are you doing? Make good decisions. Keep getting away from the edge of the bubble. It's just like real life where I have to watch people make terrible decisions all the time and I can't stop them. The life of a professor. Okay, what do I got going on in here? Yeah, so you should check out Pacific Plankton. So she does some late night streaming. She did a little bit earlier today live from San Francisco Bay where she was collecting material, and then she sometimes streams into her Discord channel as well. So really cool stuff, and then we sometimes will put some of the material she has from her light microscope onto our scanning electron microscope. And then last but not least in that list of people that were there was Physaria. Physaria is a new microscope streamer, and she mostly...
Good news, everyone!
A new... What? What are you doing, Mallory? Physaria usually sings, and she's got a great voice. But then she also will sometimes put some stuff on the microscope and stream from there. So she's learning as she goes, but I think she's doing a great job with it. And she's on right now. She's singing, so you could go check her out if you'd like to. Great voice, and a very active channel when she's on. She's usually got like hundreds of people in there, so you should check it out. Also, another cool thing about this microscope and setup is that I can do this, which is like zoom in, using my camera. So we could get super close to the water bear, for example. It's moving around a bit still, but the zoom in settings basically let me to like really get in close. Of course, I could do that with the 20x objective, but the difference is that zoomed in like this, I still have a little bit of working distance, whereas with the 20x objective, just so little of the actual organisms in focus at once So that's made it hard for me to do anything with it. So I'm going to zoom back out because it's on that piece of junk that keeps moving around and changing elevations. So making it hard for me. Anyway, clicking unfollow button was a mistake. Was it though? So close to the water bear, I could see its folds. It is like a little chunky baby. Or like a hot chunky baby if it's a lady water bear and it's tardy bee. It's crawling around pretty good. So yeah, it seems like this setup will work pretty nicely. Like I said, I still have some things I need to sort of figure out, but it would be nice if I could showcase, with a cursor on the screen, which I can't do right now. I can play with some settings, which is nice as well. So if I decide that it needs to be a little bit brighter, I can just go ahead and make it a little brighter, because I have a camera right here, and so I don't have to deal with the camera making adjustments to the light, because the normal video camera is always doing some sort of auto adjusting that I can't really compensate for, but I can do like cool stuff like turn up the contrast super high, and I can play with the diaphragm light down here as well to change some of the settings, but I like it to have super high relief, so I want the diaphragm to be very narrow. But it does give me a few extra tools to sort of play with, which is nice. Yeah, now he's sort of cruising around. He's having a good time, and he's making it hard for me to keep him in focus. There we go. But nice image of him, I think, with the new camera setup when he's not jumping from one plane to the next. I thought maybe with the cover slip on it would be a little bit easier to control him, but it hasn't worked out that way. He's going around in circles. The life of a water bear. And a little rotifer over here. Stuck back on his original little island. His own tiny little planet. Yeah, get off of that one. Let's get out into the middle somewhere where you're not going to change planes on me. Nope, right back under it. Oh, you had a COVID test and it came back negative. That's good. Good to hear. Breaded Shrimp 23. I'm just going to keep calling you Dangling, even if your name's changed. And then when people are confused later on because they don't know that you changed your name, I won't have any sympathy for them. I'll just be like, I knew her back when she was Dangling. It's a pretty good picture. Not gonna lie. No, not me, my brother's baby. Oh, that's good. Oh, we're being raided. You hear that noise? That's the raid sound. It's Dr. Young's lab coming for a visit. Hello, Dr. Young's lab, and all the 15 people that you brought along. Welcome in. We are looking at some water bears and some rotifers in the light microscope, and testing out some of the settings on my new camera. Well, it's my old camera, but it's set up on my microscope in a new way. So it's actually my DSLR, although mine's not a DSLR, it's actually a Micro Four Thirds. Hey, a new follower, Golden Duke. Welcome, Newt Nation. We don't always look at water bears here in this channel. In fact, more frequently I've been doing it, but normally we look at diatoms and I don't know, whatever else we feel like looking at. Sometimes it's moths and butterfly wings. Sometimes it's, who knows? We put on anything we can make big that's really little. either on the light microscope or the scanning electron microscope. When I stream at night, it's from my light microscope though, and when I stream during the daytime, could be anything, but it's probably going to be from a scanning electron microscope. You can see that internal organs of the rotifer cranking away right there really well. In here, you see that? Here, let me fix the light a little bit. I want to, let's see, make it a little darker so you can see that. And then I'm going to try to focus in on it by jumping up a level. Oh wait, we're already on 20. Let's see, let's do this. Oh yeah, you can see it moving around in there real well. Yeah, see it sort of chomping away in there? Chomp, 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 chomp. And up at the top, it's got its little cilia spinning right there. You can see the cilia on the corona spinning. And it uses that to pull stuff in towards its mouth, like a little vacuum that it creates. Chomp, 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 chomp. What is the Newt call sign? Well, we are Newt Nation here. That's one of our nicknames. So, biology is pretty weird, yeah. These little things are Bedello. That's a Bedello Rotifer right there. The spinny things at the top of it, and it has one little foot that it attaches, so it's grabbing on to the pile of lichen that it's attached to for dear life. There, the thing that just went spinning past it is actually a little ciliate. See if I can get those ciliates in focus. Oh, there's also some junk that's being pulled around. You can see the junk being pulled around. Let me see. I'm going to bounce out a level. See how there's a little vortex of junk spinning around? Those things aren't moving on their own. They're being pulled around by the vortex of the top of that rotifer right there. So as it's spinning its little cilia in the corona, it creates a little vortex, and you can see all of the particles that are basically being sucked towards its face. And then some of them it rejects, and some of them it consumes, and that's how it eats. It's a filter feeder, basically. It's not filtering, but it's siphoning the water towards its face. Chomp, chomp, chomp. And this thing down here that's wandering around on this floating... Oh, it's like crawling and pulling it now. It's got its own little raft. It doesn't seem to want to let go of the raft. Is a water bear. So the water bear is got 8 legs. You can see it's flailing around kind of a lot. Its back 2 legs are different than the rest of its legs. It sort of has 6 climbing or clawing legs that it uses to walk around with, and then the back 2 legs are they're sort of backwards facing, and they are used like the rotifer's back leg to grab onto things. So it's like their clasping legs are the back 2, and then their front 6 legs, so they have 8, are used for walking around. So it's right on like 2 different planes. It's making it really difficult for me to get a focus on it. But you can see on the end of its little, now it's underneath the pile of junk. On the end of its little legs, each one has actually a couple sets of claws. Tiny little claws. And we had this thing, not this one, but a water bear on the scanning electron microscope a couple of weeks ago. I think that the video is still available in the video on demand, or you can just go look at the Instagram page that's here. Oops, Instagram. Did I beat Mallory to it? I definitely did. Where we have some SEM images of the water bear, and also its claws and its little newt face. You know, the little thing on the front end of its face. There's like a little suction tube. It actually has little tiny pharyngeal teeth in there that it uses to scrape things and get food. So water bears and rotifers. Can you see both of them at the same time? Yeah. They're both known extremophiles. They handle being in really dehydrated states for a really long time, and then you add a little bit of water and they basically come right back to life. There's other things that are in here. in the sample, and oftentimes you'll find them grouped together with nematode worms, which are also extremophiles in the same way for drying conditions, and some of these little ciliates, because the ciliates that are swimming around, I'll see if I can find one of them. They're really fast. No. Oh, there goes one. Stuck on that little blob. They're tiny. These ones are tiny. But that also was totally dried up when the sample started, because this thing was a piece of lichen on a stick. So it started off like this. I scraped it with a knife just to get the bark and the lichen off of it. I scraped it into a bowl like this. And then I just added a little bit of water to it and pipetted it up into a sample and stuck it on a slide with a cover slip. And voila. We had 5 minutes later, we had little water bears walking around, and he's out here on his own little raft again. It's like he's moved quite a bit. And some rotifers. There's the rotifer, still up there on his little island. And there's another rotifer down here somewhere, a bigger one. I don't remember where he was. Tucked down here somewhere. Anyway, all of them basically came back to life from water that was added to the sample, and the water was pure water, raw pure water, so there was nothing in it. Yeah. Let's see. The chat just sort of flew by me there. It's taking its junk with it, like a Zelda monster. Yeah. Mika pointed that out, I think, in there's a Zelda boss or something. He spent time making that junk nice. He's not about to leave it. Yeah, that's a good point, Dr. Young. You get attached, and then he's really attached. Let's see. Somebody gets it. I got a bigger one? The soup of life. Yeah. So, he's on a different piece. The water bear's just moving around. He's doing his thing. He's looking for food. He's crawling around like they usually do. When they get detached from things and they can't crawl, they look like little helpless babies. You know, I think that's part of what makes them look so cute. One, they look a little bit like a sleeping bag, you know, that's got legs. And then their little newt mouths, you know. And then, and two, well, they're puffy, right? But then they also look so helpless. Like, they can't see what they're doing, and they just claw around from one place to the next. And then when they get detached from substrates, and then just, like, flail around like a little baby. So, as I mentioned, when the sample gets a little drier, it actually probably will make it easier for the water bear to get around, because they can claw around on the drier surfaces a little bit easier than, I think, swim. So you can see them like doing their doggy paddle. Oh, he just grabbed another piece and moved over to it. Yeah, it's exciting. He's making a big pile of junk that's ending up in the corner over here.
Hey, Maui Souri.
Whoa, we got a sub. It was Anonymous Turtle. Thank you for the subscription, Anonymous Turtle. You are now a member of the Newt Nation. There you go. Definitely. And if you like, you know, there's this sexy tardigrade down here in the corner. That's Tardy B. That was drawn earlier today by Little Chook, live on Twitch. So you should check out Little Chook. And she does a great job. She just sketched that up, and surprisingly fast. She's got a great sense of, like, you know, body positioning. Look at that thing, right? How do you make a water bear look sexy? I mean, if somebody asked me to do it, I would just not be able to. So I would just be like, I don't know how you do that. But, you know, this one, I mean, maybe 20 minutes after she started, it was already looking pretty hot. So, it's got those big luscious lips, you know? And it's got that tan line. Super hot. Yeah, Chook is great. We have bubbly streamers. You should join. Yeah. There's little Chook. She's been listening in, I think. She's lurking. She's probably drawing something while she's lurking. She's probably out there. She's always working. She's lurking and working. Look at that poor little guy. He's like the bubble. The bubble. It's close. Oh, there's that Rotifer poking his head out again. Well, I've come attached to these two, but I don't know what to do with them. I guess we could put them back in the sample. Oh, here's the other Rotifer over here. It's hanging out under, still under this orange piece of junk. It seems to like it there. There's another Rotifer. And the water bear is still up here on the edge of the bubble with a pile of junk in the corner. Nobody puts water bear in a corner. Super hot. Chook was nomming some pizza a bit ago, allegedly. Oh. Orange piece of junk is the best piece of junk. Well, I like orange, so I'm going to agree with that. At least it's got color going for it. We were trying to figure out for little Chook what color to make Tardy be, and I told her that sometimes they have like a reddish color, sometimes like a brown color, sometimes they're clear, sometimes they are that pinkish color. The last stream that I did, we actually found a water bear who had shed its skin. The mama had shed its skin and the little eggs were in the casing, the molt. And that's, some water bears do that. They will molt and they'll leave their eggs behind in the egg casing. And the casing basically acts as a protection for the little eggs until they can get big enough. And the water bears allegedly take something like 2 weeks to grow to the point where they hatch. Of course, we didn't know how old they were when they started. But I took that sample and put it back outside because I was worried that the quality was going to degrade and that the water bears weren't going to be able to make it. But I also put a little bit of it on a cover slip, and I have another water bear on a cover slip as well that I saved from the previous selection of stuff. And maybe on Wednesday we'll do some water bears in this SEM stream, because these are different species than the ones that we were looking at before. This little ciliate's just spinning around. I think it's stuck on this piece of junk and tethered to it, as you might say. And it's not a good time for it. It hasn't managed to detach itself, and maybe doesn't know how. I think this orange thing right here is a husk of a water mite. It's partially buried in this pile of junk, so can't say for sure. But its body looks kind of like a mite body. You're going the wrong way. Look where you are. Look where you are. What'd I say about bad decisions? Look where you are. There's water. The water's closing in on all sides. We're going to be covered with air here. You don't want that. Get out of the corner. This is no place for you. This is no place for you. So also sometimes when I stream, I just stream my daughter playing Minecraft, or Slime Ranchers, because she makes me. You know, she's partly in control of what happens around here, and you should check those out, because I sometimes will watch my old feeds, and the funniest ones, like, these are cool and all because we're looking at cool stuff in the light microscope, but the ones where my daughter's building stuff in Minecraft is just hilarious. Like, partly because I don't understand anything about Minecraft, and it's got a lot of weird quirks, and as a scientist, I don't understand most of what's going on. It doesn't make any sense. Hey, it's Last Miles. How you doing, Last Miles? Are you gonna stream tonight? What's going on here? I'm here to see the water bear from Star Trek Discovery. No microscope needed. Well, there is a water bear over there on the lower corner of the screen. That's Turdy B. You can check out that one. Um, we don't have a full-sized water bear, but if we did, I'm sure it would give you a hug. Will we be getting a stream in the lab tomorrow? I don't think so. I think I'm going to. I don't think I'm going to stream it because I'm probably going to Zoom with the scientists that I'm working with, and we're going to have some discussion about how to best look at the material, and then which samples does she want to look at, and I don't know. It's a little bit more sciencey, a little less like fun stuff on the scanning electron microscope. But once I prep the samples, if she's all right with it, we might showcase a little bit of those on as crypto organic soils, is what we're looking at from White Sands National Park, and she does a lot of work on algae and other organisms that live in the soils, and I don't think anybody's ever looked at any of that stuff in the scanning electron microscope. At least that's what she tells me. So we're going to hang out tomorrow on the scanning electron microscope, get some research done, and then I might bring some of that to either Wednesday stream or Saturday stream. But we're probably going to have to stream for a couple of weeks in a row in order to figure out exactly what we want to do on this, not stream, but look through stuff on the scanning electron microscope for at least a couple of weeks. So, we kind of have to play it by ear a little bit, and I'd rather not do that on a stream. You're not used to seeing me without a mask on. Well, I can pull my hat down like this if you'd like. Yeah, well, I'm at home, so I don't need a mask at home. And pretty soon in the SEM lab, I'll be by myself because the rest of the kids will have to go home. Mallory might be around occasionally, but I'll probably be streaming a lot from the scanning electron microscope without a mask on going forward. So you may do a stream tonight, but it'll just be you pushing numbers around like a fool for fun. Well, Last Miles does some cool stuff. We should give a shout out to Last Miles. There we go. Let's see if I can do it. Seems how my, trying to keep up with me is hard for my mods. What is happening here? What are you doing? What? You're fighting with the air bubble again. You're making bad choices. Yeah, there you go. Away from the corner. No, keep going. Yeah. Prime numbers, some composites in the 80-digit range, and some number field sieve implementations for factoring. Shrink 46, is it eating that stuff? Yeah, some of the stuff is being eaten by it. As I mentioned, they have a little, that is actually, they're here together. They found each other once again. I think maybe they're just like buddies, The Rotifer and the water bear, they just keep ending up on the same little rock. The water bears have like a little snout, their little newt snout, and they can use it to eat all kinds of things. They're sort of grazers, and they will, the smaller ones, like this one's kind of a smaller one, will eat moss. That's where they get their other name, moss piglet. And they'll sometimes just eat whatever this stuff is, algae or whatever that's growing here on the surface of these. These are pieces of lichen, so they're going to get a little bit of the material from that they'll chew on. The bigger ones actually can eat all kinds of things, including other water bears. So they're big enough they can attack stuff. On the stream that we had, where I had water bears, I think it was the last stream I did where I had water bears, Um, there was one that had found a nematode, and it was basically like sucking the juices out of the nematode. The nematode was already dead, but the water bear didn't seem to care. It was scavenging it. So let's see. We need more suggestions for Sylvia to build things. Yeah, that's true. She was testing the stream delay. Carlin was listening to the Minecraft stream out here in the dining room, and we were in the office. And my daughter would yell stuff into the microphone in the office, and then run out into the dining room and try to get here before it played on my wife's screen. So pretty funny. Let's see. I try to keep up with the chat a little bit. Yeah, it's oh, that air bubble is closing in on it still. It's just gonna keep happening, I think. That's, if we go back up here, you can see where they were, and now they're gradually moving away from that. That'll just keep happening as the sample starts to dry even farther, and then maybe they'll end up on this one over here with this guy. They can mess with this rotifer a little bit. Now we're all getting kind of cozy. And then eventually what will happen is this water bear it'll get dry enough, they'll go into their cryptobiotic state. And one of the things that's sort of cool about this is previous stream we had a water bear that my daughter found on a stick that she collected and took the sample and prepped the sample and everything, that we named Gubu. And Gubu is on this slide still. So I got to be careful not to tilt it too high. But the water bear dried on there, and then maybe a week later I put some water on there and Gubu came back to life. So we've decided I'll just keep Gubu in this dehydrated state, and then when we want to wake him up, we'll wake him up. But Gubu lives. He's still here. And we could probably do that with this sample if we wanted to keep this particular water bear around for a while as a pet. I found that it's a little bit better to keep them in a dry state. I think they're used to being wet for a little while and then dried out, rather than just trying to keep the sample that they're in where they're constantly active. I think the water quality starts to degrade on them pretty quickly, and also I don't know if they just have like a limited amount of energy, but they get sort of like they don't move anymore. So I don't know if they're tired of being active or if they're just used to having sort of short bursts of energy, and then they need to like rest for a while. So, oh yeah, Sarah can come down and check out the SCM. You're always welcome to come down to the lab. In Exit U, hello, how are you doing? Gubu was the name of one of the water bears that we found. Gooboo. Yeah, one of many. Yeah, they get excited for a little while and they crawl around, and then that's what it got named. Long live Gubu. If you check out my little artist back alley train, there's a little water bear that I drew that's on it, and he's got a button that says Gubu lives. So I thought that was pretty funny. If you're really interested in some of that stuff, and you wanted to purchase anything that I've drawn, you can check out that Redbubble site. There's like stickers and t-shirts, and you can get cool diatoms or water bears. They make nice gifts, and it's getting close to Christmas. So any of the money that's created from profit for it, so you have to pay for the merchandise. I don't set that price. But the profit that's associated with it, I also don't take. So that money, I'm just going to put back into my lab and use it for student research. So, and also any money associated with the stream, subscriptions or bits or anything else, I don't take any of that money. It's going to be used to purchase things for student research projects. So I work for free, basically. I work for my students doing these streams. So, all right. Well, let's see. Yeah, you could go check it out. I'd love to add a link to a picture of Gubu. Well, we did take a picture.
Hey, Maui,
Oops,
Sally.
we got a sub there. A gift sub. Well, that's very generous. Thank you. Last Miles. I do have a picture of Gubu on the forums. We took it, well, not of Gubu, of a water bear that's like Gubu that ended up, I found a dead one in the sample that was different than the one my daughter had. And we put that on the scanning electron microscope. So I got some cool pictures of it. And, we'd be happy to let you see those. You can probably get them on my Discord channel. Look, there's the Rotifer and our water bear. They're all cuddled up again on this little piece of junk that is still being encroached upon by our air bubble. And they have not figured out yet that they need to go the other direction, of course, because bad decisions. Just a little sub of little money that will go to good places after Bezo takes his slice. Yeah, well, I can't stop Bezo from taking his slice, but it can go to pay for my students. So Mallory and Eleanor and Rihanna all work and help me on the streams on Wednesdays, typically on the scanning electron microscopes, because it's kind of hard for me to work a scanning electron microscope and manage the channel, but I'm going to have to do it going forward probably for a little while. Although I guess they could check in from not in the lab and run things remotely to help. But we pay for them to do a little bit of research, and we can also use it to pay for equipment in the SEM lab that they might use or that we might use for the stream. So definitely going towards student research. And any of it we appreciate. So thanks for that sub. Oop, it's got his little rotating hairs going right there, pretty good. It's a nice little picture of that. So I'm going to stop before it gets too much later. I wasn't planning on just doing a full-fledged stream, but now we're invested in this water bear and this rotifer kind of a lot. So, I'll probably just let this slide dry out and then pop off the cover slip so I can add water to it again, and hopefully the rotifer and the water bear will live, and maybe we'll just name this one. We'll just call this one Tardy B, and maybe she's this sexy water bear that we see in the corner here. So you should also, if you're interested in seeing microscope streamers, you should check out Pacific Plankton. In particular, she's on tonight in about an hour and a half. She does really great streams, super educational, plankton from San Francisco Bay, and it looks gorgeous. She does everything in dark field and then sort of bounces back into light field when she needs to. But you can see diatoms and zooplankton, a bunch of really cool worms. When she streams during the day, she goes and collects the samples, sometimes from San Francisco Bay, and then she'll come home and she'll stream into her Discord with it. So I was the only person there, but I got a little sneak peek of what's going to be on her microscope tonight. And she's got some really cool worms, so you should give that a check out. And again, everything that she does goes towards charity associated with Greater Fairlawns. So another great streamer who isn't in it for profit, just is trying to basically advance people's education in science. So pin-up water bear, that's right. And we have Little Chook to thank for that. So we should say thanks to Little Chook, and I'll just give her one little shout out more for her drawing, and you should definitely check out her channel. She doesn't always draw sexy water bears, but when she does, man, they're sexy. Normally she draws a lot of chickens. She's been drawing people who sub for I think 3 months in her channel. She draws little chicksonas, so like they can tell her what they want the chicken to be, and she'll draw it for them. She's also been doing a bunch of chooks as Pokemon, or Chukimons, where she basically makes Pokemon characters into chickens or vice versa. So you should check her out. And we should find someone to raid. There's a couple of options, but I think either Num the Geek or Phaseria would be a good choice, and maybe Phaseria because I did raid Numb the Geek last time. That I had an option to, and it would be nice to help out a fellow streamer who's also a microscope streamer, which is Phaseria. So let's do that now, and I want to thank everybody for the follows, for the raid from Dr. Young's lab, and from the subs for the people who gave subscriptions to the channel for this month. Thanks a lot, and enjoy all those cool emotes that you got. We got a bunch of cool diatom emotes. Hey, Pragmatic, you came in at the wrong time there. We're getting ready to buzz out. But, we can wait. Oh, we'll wait for Last Miles. That'd actually be really nice. So I'll hang out and wait for Last Miles to get his machine hooked up. And in the meantime, we can figure out whether or not our water bear will get out of this corner that it's put itself in. Oh, no, look where it's gotten. It's put itself in the bubble with no exit. How are you going to get out? What did I tell you about going that way? The whole time I've been trying to get it to go the other direction, and it just keeps digging itself in a deeper hole. It is just like students, you know? You tell them something, and they just don't want to listen. And then you just got to sit there and watch them struggle. Look at the struggle. You know, I can see from up here that's not going to be the right direction, Water Bear. That's not going to work. You're going the wrong way. Yeah, that's air all around. All around. You plead the fifth. Tardy B, don't do it. I'll let you get a cup of coffee. That'll be fine. We can hang out here. I can try to entertain people for 10 more minutes. You know, let's see how well it goes. And then we'll raid Last Miles. That would be great. Where did you go, Tardy B? Oh, you went even further up into this. Look at her. Look at her. She's crawling along the edge of the bubble. Tardy, what are you up to? Come on. You've checked out all the sides. They're all wrong. You go this way. Look over here. This Rotifer's dumber than you, and it figured it out. Look at it. It knows what's up. It's like this way, ding dong. Oh man. I don't know how you're gonna get out of this. You might have to dehydrate your way out of this one. Well, on the bright side, it's gonna keep him trapped in a little zone. What is this? What has happened? Oh my goodness, it's Wednesday, making an appearance on the camera. Say hello, Wednesday. What? A cat on the screen? You're trying to get me some extra follows. Let you look in the microscope. Okay, just for a little bit. What? That water bear is dumb. I know. Here you go. Wednesday. Snail slime side effects. Yeah, it's a little lost. If only we could help it. If only it would listen to reason. Wait, where did it go? Maybe it knows something we don't. Look at this. It's outside the air bubble. Now it's on the other end. It's like, you know what? Maybe water's not my thing. Maybe I'll just crawl around on this glass. There it goes. There it goes. You're in the right way. You're doing the right thing. Oh, look, a delicious piece of moss. Nope, nope. Here you go. There's our water bear. There's Tardy B. She's gonna make it out of that bubble. She'll be fine. What kind of madness is this? That's the thing. You know, water bears can actually get into they can move around in the air. So maybe the air bubble isn't that big of a deal. You're really making it hard for me to focus, though, when you jump in and out of the water bubble. No, don't go. Don't do it. Tardy B, no. What did I tell you about this direction? You keep going this way. You had it, and then you lost it again. So she's just making loops around this little piece of junk. Bad life decisions, once again. Oh, here it is, stuck down on this back in the bowl. You had a way out. There was a path. It was right there. We were all rooting for you, Tardy. We don't want you to be a DAP. We want you to stay a WAP. Yeah. So captioning worked pretty well. I'm pleased with how well the captioning has worked. Although I can see occasionally that it's putting up a bunch of gibberish, but I can't help that, and no one else can either. It's science language, so it probably doesn't understand what it is I'm trying to say a lot. But I'm actually really happy that I got captions turned on, because I wanted to make it a little bit more accessible to people who may not be good at hearing. And also, now the Rotifers made bad decisions. Look at this. What are you doing? Just abandon that piece. There's all this over here. Look at this one. This one's living the life of luxury right here. It's out here with its little favorite orange piece of junk. Stuff spinning around. Food going in its mouth. It's giant chompy chomp doing chompy chomps right there. And what are you doing? You're over here struggling on the struggle bus with the air bubble. Cardi B also struggling with the air bubbles. If I had the mic closer to my mouth, well, is this close enough? It's not really that far from my mouth. It's like this far away. One of your students told you a few weeks ago that they made good life decisions. Did it check out? Did they make good life decisions? Oh, look where you put yourself, Tardy. This is not a good situation. This is not working out the way I think you wanted it to. You have food you could be eating. It's over here, in the wet part of the slide, with the Rotifers. Look at them. They know what's up. Was it drastically improved? I could also just turn the volume up a little bit on the sensor. I mean, I have a microphone with a little knob on it. I didn't realize it was problematic. Sounded like pro streamer. Well, I mean, I guess I'm a pro streamer. I got paid money to do it. Woof. Yeah, that's okay. I think the reason I had it positioned where it was is because I need to move my mouse. And then I decided I don't actually need to move my mouse right now, because you can't see what I'm pointing at with it. So it's not really a big deal. Part of the problem is when I talk, I have to talk like into the microscope if I'm looking into the microscope. So there's no way for me to do that unless I just talk louder. And characteristically, I'm not a loud talker. So What has happened? Oh, we're up here on the bubble edge again. Come on, Tardy. Make better life choices. Oh. Are you ready for ASMR nights on the microscope? I don't understand anything about ASMR. I think it's people just whispering and stuff. Is that what it is? I saw a whole stream where Frecked Chemist was just like making noises into the microphone, and I thought, that's weird. Well, you've almost got it figured out. The optics in the bubble are really bad. You're making it hard for me to get focus. Look at these guys. Well, I can take suggestion, it's fine. I don't know what Tardy's doing, Turtle. She's, I have faith she'll figure it out. As that air bubble dries up a little bit more, she's just gonna have no place else to go. It's already kind of tight where she is. See? She's trying to figure out where did the water go. She said, I'm not ready to curl up into a little ball and hibernate. One thing that's kind of nice about using this system, though, is that the camera and the eye are both focused at the same time. So when I get it focused in the microscope, you have it focused in your field of view, which I think is really great. I can make it a little bit brighter for you. Also, we've been running it at 20x, oh, actually 200x for most of the stream, because I didn't move us back out. We managed to do okay at 200. So if I jump back out, sorry about the bright flash, you can get some perspective about where we are. So out here is where the rotifers are. Here's one, chomping. The other one, oh, it seems like it's moved. It maybe gave up that piece of junk it was on. Oh yeah, it's over here now. Oh! Oh no. Oh, that's catastrophic. Did you see what happened? The bubble has collapsed. And the bridge connecting them is gone. And now Tardy is out here on her own, with nowhere to go. Oh, we've reached that point, Tardy. I don't think there's any return from this. I have a feeling you're going to be stuck there on your little bubble island as it gets smaller and smaller. And that'll be the end. Do you know what, though? She's got special adaptations for dryness, so like I said, I think she'll be fine. We'll just, we'll let the slide dry up. Tardy will dry up into a little ball, and when we want to wake her up next time, I'll just pull out the slide. It'll be fine. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to mark the slide as Tardy B, and then I won't throw it away. So there's that. And I got a general idea where she is. She's in the bottom left-hand corner. Well, bottom right-hand corner. And she'll live on. I think she'll be fine. It's better this than if we put her on the scanning electron microscope. That would be bad, because there's no coming back from that. But from an air bubble, this is just every day, no problem. She just lost her friends, that's all. And you know what? They'll be back. They can also handle the dehydration. Oh, and hey, Last Miles is back on now, and he's streaming. So we're going to end our saga Tardy B and her friends, the Rotifers. And I want to thank all those people again for helping us out. And also Mallory showing up here in the channel a little bit earlier and helping moderate. That was great. You know, on her spare time. The battery on my laptop's about to die, so we better get to it if we're gonna raid. We raid. A dumb question, how to... Hang on a second, I'll have to come back to it. Raid. Oh, it's not listening to me. There we go. Last miles. Let's see, the question is, how do we know little Tard is a she? We don't. We're just pretending she is, but a lot of the tardigrades are. So. Oh. I lost it. I think my battery died. So, on my laptop. Let's see if I can figure out how to get us where we need to go before my thing automatically sends me there. View chat. Aha. I think we'll be okay. Yeah. We're getting ready to raid. We'll catch you all later. We'll see you.
Good news, everyone!